You know that corporations, the wealthy, and certain licensed individuals don't pay taxes. Or rather, they pay for the taxes, but they pass their increased costs through to the poor people who actually pay their taxes when they go to the grocery store, when they pay their rent, or when they pay off their credit cards. The upper class never really suffers from any loss of income because of large government. They really don't care how big the government is, provided it's not so large that it completely crushes the economy. Only the poor have to pay for taxes, and they pay for them when they buy stuff. Things like a pound of butter or a gallon of milk that should cost $1 cost them $3. I'm going to try to illustrate these issues with simple little figures. This jug holds government costs or taxes. It's brown in color. Ugh. I'm going to use this bucket to represent the economy of the country. As the government costs or taxes increase, there's less room for the economy. I glued the little people, the poor people, to the bottom because they really aren't able to change anything. They have to accept any job that they can find and work at wages that are offered. They have to pay the prices that the corporations, the wealthy, and those favored by government charge. They don't set prices, in other words. We're going to represent the corporations with this one boat, and we'll put it right in there because the corporations actually are part of the economy. This little other boat is going to represent the wealthy. These are individuals who invest their money into bonds and stocks, and they draw dividends and interest. And we're going to put those into the economy also. These little guys who are painted white have a backpack on, kind of a life preserver. It allows them to float in the economy. And these are licensed individuals. They are people who can charge prices that are far beyond what the marketplace would offer them. And I've got two of these guys. This is the second one here in case you want to know what he looks like. And we're going to put them in there also. Now we're going to start pouring governmental costs into this particular brew. These are once more governmental costs or taxes, whatever you want to call them. It's the intrusion of the government into our daily lives. And of course, the very first thing is collecting the income taxes and also sales taxes, excise taxes. This is all part of our cost of government. The very fact that they're there bothering us is a cost to us. Further costs include the Defense Department. You have to include George Bush's war in Iraq, the so-called Mirage in the Desert, among those costs. Another little dash for the minimum wage. Another little dash for the war on drugs. There's a little theft and corruption going on. But you'll notice that the people who are licensed, the corporations and the wealthy, they all float above it all. They really don't care where the level of taxation is in the economy. But the poor people, the little people, the people depicted in red and black here, are getting into it deeper and deeper into the ugly brown stuff. Let's add a big slug for Social Security, another big slug for Medicaid and Medicare. Look at the little short black guys, they're almost drowning here. They're not having much fun here because they really don't get much of it back. The black guys, they don't live long enough to actually enjoy Social Security or Medicare. Another cost of government is regulations. Drowns people, just absolutely makes them feel rotten. But look at the corporations are still floating, the wealthy are still floating, and of course the licensed are doing quite nicely. But some of the little black guys in here, they're actually in over their heads. Let's see what happens when we add in foreign aid, so that people in foreign countries can be ripped off by their own governments. Let's add a little bit more for theft and corruption. We know that our politicians are not always extremely honest. And oh look, most of the poor people have drowned. They're underwater, under the ugly brown stuff. But look at the corporations, the wealthy, and the people who have licenses. They continue to float along just fine. As we add even more governmental costs, which is what's been happening here for the last 50 or 60 years in the United States, we finally drowned out all the little poor people. Corporations, the wealthy, and the licensed don't like that, because now they have trouble charging anyone. Poor people's income has not kept up with the general level of rise in incomes during the last 50 years because government has gotten progressively larger. And the poor people have to pay for all of this increase through higher costs that corporations, the rich and the licensed, have to charge to keep up their own standard of living. It's the scam that we call the welfare state.